Hello everybody, this is part 8 of my Canadian military history series. In this part we'll talk about just the basic peacekeeping operations Canada's been part of. There's been many, but we'll mainly cover a few of them. Just going to cover the important, more memorable ones. There's been quite a few. We have Egypt, Cyprus, Syria, Persian Gulf, Balkans, Somalia, Rwanda, Haiti, East Timor, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. And to a point, Afghanistan. I don't know why that's listed, but on the Veteran Affairs website, is where I'm on right now. Um, yeah, let's first start off with what is peacekeeping. Okay, peacekeeping. Okay, let's get back in there. Peace efforts. Okay. International peace missions often have positive effects, but the strife, conflict, and death that surround these efforts is not always easy to handle. Um, peacekeeping missions are probably one of the more dangerous out there. You don't know where the bad guys are, really. It's probably more hazardous than a combat mission in Afghanistan overall. But peacekeeping, it's basically mediation. It's basically being the middleman. Um, I don't really define peacekeeping as peacekeeping per se. I mean, after war, there has to be somebody to keep the peace. But first, have the peace, you have to make the peace, and that usually involves combat. That's just my personal belief, personal opinion on the matter. Um, so I mean, it's interesting to see. A lot of people do not understand that, don't get that. Peacekeeping, peacemaking are two different things. Canadians, as everybody should know, are great at doing both. Great at making the peace and great at keeping the peace. I think I mentioned a couple of them already. Cyprus, Suez Canal, all those places. We're all pretty much the two parties. Either party was like, you couldn't you try to separate them, but you couldn't. Um, but yeah, I mean, international efforts. 1.5 million Canadians were called upon to defend peace and freedom around the world during the First World War, the Second World War, and the Korean War. Following these terrible conflicts, in which more than 110,000 Canadians died, Canada and other countries felt it was better to try to prevent wars when possible than fight them. Which is honorable. That's honorable. I have to say that. Our country played a leading role in the peacekeeping movement from the outset. In fact, a Canadian, Lester B. Pearson, won the 1957 Nobel Peace Prize for his pioneering vision in helping establish a UN force to prevent the Suez Crisis of the 1950s from escalating to a global confrontation. Since then, Canada's commitment to international peace efforts and other overseas military actions have continued. Some of the places Canadians have served include Egypt, Cyprus, Syria, the Persian Gulf, the former Yugoslavia, Somalia, Haiti, Rwanda, Ethiopia, and Eritrea, East Timor, and Afghanistan. I haven't understood peacekeeping in Afghanistan. That says more peacemaking to me. Challenges. Peacekeeping is based on the idea of having a force of impartial troops present in a regional conflict that can help reduce tensions and improve the chance of a peaceful settlement to a violent conflict. But filling this role is demanding work. Put yourself in the boots of a person leaving on an international peace mission. You'd be called upon to monitor ceasefires, patrol buffer zone, act as intermediary between clashing groups, clear landmines, investigate war crimes, protect refugees, and provide, of course, humanitarian assistance. The role of Canadian forces now involves all aspects of peace support, including peacemaking and peace building. as I said. The skills and training needed for peace support include combat skills as well as contact skills. Their lives and the lives of others often depend on the skill in both areas and their ability to use both at the right time. Each situation encountered by the Canadian Forces when they enter a new peace mission is unique. Canadian Forces members returning from peace mission often remark that there is very little peace to keep, a reference to the fact that our military is often asked to intervene in situations of a full-fledged war where the environment is not at all peaceful. Well, I get that's basically what I was getting at. You need to make the peace for and keep the peace. And all about making the peace, that statement was actually absolutely 100% right. That's from the Veteran Affairs Council of Canada's website. So, I mean, it's actually very good statement, peacekeeping, peacemaking. Actually, it's basically what I said. It's not peacekeeping per se. It's more peacemaking and peace building. Those are the first two stages, and you have your peace actual monitoring the situation after that. And each situation is different. Rwanda, for example, was a disaster waiting to happen. Somalia was a disaster waiting to happen. And guess what? Disasters did happen. So you have hardened combat troops trained not to be peacekeepers, but to be special forces guys, pretty much airborne troops. They're cracked. They're cracked troops. They're good, solid troops. When we give them peacekeeping duties, we see what happened in Somalia. We can't fault the troops. We can't fault the command. It's Ottawa is the fault there for that situation, not the troops itself. Yes, they're responsible for their actions, but it was the inevitable of the situation in Somalia. And a lot of good soldiers, a lot of good officers were disciplined unnecessarily. Were used as scapegoats for Ottawa's shortcomings at the time. Which I believe that was Mr. Chrétien at the time, if I remember correctly, Somalia. Brian Mulroney and Jean Chrétien during the Somalia situation. But that being said, can't really fault the soldiers. It's more of a UN problem with the UN command structure, and in our case, in Canada's case, it was Ottawa was partially the problem. They were trying to pin it on this one of the lowly guys in the ranks, and that's what happened. With the inquiry, a few good men lost their careers, which I mean, a lot of you probably agree with. They should have lost it. And to the point where they did, yeah, they deserved it. But them being used as scapegoats, that's wrong. But it's not the video for it. Facts and figures, really. Wow. Well, our present military numbers are approximately 60,000 Reg Force and 20,000 reservists. More than 125,000 Canadian Forces members served dozens of international peace missions to more than 35 countries in the past 60 years. Approximately 125 Canadians have died in these efforts, and many more have suffered physical and mental injury. Canadian Forces perform many other important functions: search and rescue operations, patrolling our airspace in international waters, supporting the anti-drug operations, helping out in the aftermath of natural disasters such as Manitoba Flood 1997 and the Great Ice Storm 1998. Yeesh, I remember that one. Are just a sample of some of these vital duties. Well, for this part, let's end this part 8 of the series. Next up, Heroes of Bravery Peacekeeping, and I'm going to start covering a bit more after I cover Heroes of Bravery. Just talk about that a little bit. Some of the things I remember personally reading about. I can tell you it's Kosovo's mostly. I'm not sure the names. I know they won Military Merit Award, I believe. But yes, I'll talk about that in the next video. So thank you for watching, and hope you guys have a great night or day wherever you are, whatever time you watch this. Goodbye.